Morning, guys. It is Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire back here on the back deck, and it is March, I believe, 14th. Pretty sure that's right. So I'm going to show you around the yard. I haven't done a garden update in forever because my garden last year down here was a complete and total failure. We moved down here really late, and I didn't get it in the ground until like probably May or something crazy. And I had no idea about the soil. I had no idea what I was doing. And so it was a complete and total failure. It looked like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree out there. Everything I had was so pitiful, or it died. So I'll show you what I got going so far and some of the things I've learned. And then I'll probably show you around the yard a little bit and let you see some of the plants we got going here in mid-March. We're going to start off indoors, not outdoors. And we have fixed us in the corner of our kitchen some little grow lights here that Tammy got off the internet, and we're going to try like Tammy's brother. He has a little section in his kitchen where he has all his herbs growing. So we've got a little section here, and they seem to be doing okay. And hopefully we'll get these going where Tammy can use these while she's cooking. We'll have everything indoors. We got sage, we got cilantro, which from what I understand is very difficult to grow, and we'll see what happens with that. We have some oregano, parsley, and basil, or basil, as Chef Ramsay would say. All right, one of the things I figured out last year is you might as well go ahead and water every day in this soil because it gets hot down here. It is dry down here. We haven't had rain probably in a week and a half. So you have to water every day. I do have a well up front. I need to get fixed so that I can just use the water from the well. That'd probably work out a lot better, but I do water it every morning. And I took a soil sample. The University of Georgia has a county extension office down here in every county in Georgia, and you can take your soil sample in and they will give you a reading. They'll send it back to you, email it back to you, the report. They'll tell you how you need to fertilize and how much lime and stuff like that. So I went by the recommendations, and I had to put a lot of lime, a lot of, I used some 2400 and then maybe some 1010 out here on it, and I put a lot of fertilizer. And they tell you how much to put per, per square foot or per 1,000 square feet like that. So that really, really helps out a lot. And I also brought in a bunch of dirt periodically, lots and lots of raised bed soil. Anytime I've had soil from somewhere else I can put in here, I've put it in. I have put my cleaning station for my fish is right over there, and I have put so many dead fish buried back in this garden area and other places where I have plants. So let's see what we got right now. I bought a couple of jalapenos at Walmart. I stuck them over here. My tomatoes all grew from seeds, and I had some Cherokee purple tomatoes. I had some, I think some Better Boys. You see they're doing pretty good. They've been in the ground about 4 days. I got some, I can't think of the names of all of them now. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, I've got some, the tomatoes that are the vine tomatoes that are kind of the longer ones, I can't believe I can't think of the names of those, but I have some of those. I just threw whatever tomato seeds I had left over, and I've had a lot of them survive, and they're doing pretty good. But this area down here is notorious for tomatoes not doing well. So I decided I would put some tomatoes in these grow bags. These are called Vivasun, Vivasun grow bags, and I've grown tomatoes in them before, and they did pretty good. So I thought if the ones that are in the ground don't do any good, then I will, kind of mound these up a little more as they get bigger, and then I've got some tomato cages over there next to the building, and I'll stick some tomato cages on these and see if we can get some tomatoes this year. These 3 rows back here, I have purple hull peas, or cow peas, I think some people call them. and they're coming along. They actually grew last year. Even as bad as the garden was, we got some purple hull peas. I'm going to put 3 rows of okra right here in the middle, and it'll do fine. I'm just waiting for it to get a little hotter before I put the okra. These are some of the leftover tomatoes I grew from seed. I've got sitting there just in case I get some kind of idea what to do with them. I'm going to, like I said, my okra, actually I'm probably going to have 4 rows of okra. These are either sweet peppers or bell peppers all through here. This is a pepper that lived from last year. I left the roots in the ground, and here it comes back. It was a bell pepper. So I got peppers through here. I got some squash I grew from seed. My squash didn't do too good last year either, but like I said, nothing did. So there's my 3 squash, and we'll see how they do. Hopefully they'll live. And like I said, there's my tomatoes. They look good and healthy. And some of the, it's doing good so far. I'm going to get me some hay or some straw and, put it between the rows. And, once I get the okra in the ground, I'll come back, and that way it'll kind of keep me from having to weed so much. And then we got some onions, and they're already starting to grow a little bit. And we didn't do any onions last year. And we did get some peppers last year, some bell peppers. So we also added a lemon tree, a lime tree, and then over there next to the house, I put in a orange tree, and it's a Satsuma orange tree. And what's so funny is when I water the garden, the water, comes all the way out in here. And look at this tree compared to that tree. It's crazy, ain't it? Tammy's like, well, you just need to water all. Just get a sprinkler back here and water all them. But that just shows you the difference in the watering. But they're very healthy. So far, they're doing great. I fertilized them. I got some fruit tree fertilizer. They're already getting little new growth and some flowers on them. This tree over here really it's already got some flowers blooming out on it. So they're doing good. I want to make sure I fertilize them so that when we get lemons and oranges and stuff, that we can eat them. Because there's so many people down here that have lemon trees and orange trees that are just totally useless because they don't fertilize them and don't water them, and so the fruit's no good. But here's my orange tree right over here. You can see it's getting some flowering on it, and the new growth is doing good. These I transplanted from the front garden, and I do not know what these are called. They're not elephant ears, but they kind of look like elephant ears. So I got one here at the corner of the house and one over there. At first I really didn't know what to plant. I did some reading, but azaleas do really well. So I've put these little azaleas out, and they're really coming out. I bought those. They're really small. This is an azalea I put out last year. You can see the new growth coming in on it. These are some rhododendrons that I ordered. They're not doing a whole lot, so I did fertilize them when I fertilized the yard and the garden, but they're not really just, I don't know, maybe they're not, well, they're real slow growing anyway. So we'll see how they do. At least they stayed alive. This is a loquat tree that we have. It gets a fruit on it. Loquat fruit. It's kind of like a plum, maybe. Look, they're already, I don't think Tammy knows this. They're already getting a fruit on them. Pretty cool. They're kind of a plum looking kind of a fruit. It's real pretty. So those are the things I added up here. Of course, I took out tons of plants out of this bed. She had a lot of stuff in here that was just kind of all over the place. And I'm kind of learning what's going to work and what's not. But these are some oak leaf hydrangeas. I've got one here, and it may be this is a too hot of an area. It didn't do all that great last year. I've got one back there, which should be a little better spot for it. And I've got some stuff that should come up in here. These little bushes, I'm hoping they'll live. There's little short bushes. This part of the house, it just gets real dry and real hot out here in the front. And if you have something that says full sun out here, there ain't no full sun. You can't. I mean, if it says full sun, you have to put it in the shade down here just about. I may have, oh, this is starting to come back. This is a, I can't think of the name of it either. It's what I get my mother every year for Mother's Day. I trimmed it way back. Well, I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. I could never think of the name of this plant. But it gets real pretty flowers, and it'll get, by the end of the summer, it'll probably be up there past the window as fast as it grows here. This bed, I've got all this crazy monkey grass and that fern stuff that comes up. I don't know that I'm really going to be able to do anything. I went in last year, I dug all that stuff out. You can't kill it. I got some other things in here. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with this. Probably just let that stuff grow in it. I don't have much of a choice. This plant will come back. It's real pretty. You can see right now it's, I don't know if I should trim it all the way back to the ground or what. But anyway, you can kind of see what's happening up here. Got a couple amaryllis I threw out here that are looking fairly healthy. They're getting established. I put some knockout roses up here, and same deal, I have to really fertilize these. Usually stuff like this you don't have to do anything with, but I mean, I gotta fertilize it like crazy because it just stays so sunny and hot and dry. I got a few plants over here I moved from the front over to here. I planted some dahlias right there. Some of the clematis I put, they're not coming up yet, but I put them in front of these things. This is the same plant that's up front that I said I always get my mother for Mother's Day. It's looking like it's got, I might need to spray that for fungus. It's a gardenia. These were here when I got here. I planted some elephant ear right here at the corner of my boat shed, and then over here in that corner of the boat shed. So hopefully that elephant ear is going to come up. I experimented with putting some of these plants that like shade over here. This hardly gets any sun. They stayed alive all winter, but I don't know that they're really going to grow. Hopefully they will. So we'll see how those do. It'll be pretty if they do. And I transplanted some plants from the front beds back here. I moved this one back here. I moved this back here. This is the same plant that I had up front that was all, I had cut back and stuff. It's real pretty when it grows. There's an azalea stuck over here that I took from up front. And everything here usually does pretty good because I got my fish cleaning station right there. I got some elephant ears planted right here. Wait to see how they do. And I got some blackberries like I had at the house up there in Dallas. And they're coming along really well. You can already see some extra growth out of that. I got 2 sets of them over here next to the garden. Close to the garden. So I think they'll do good. So that's most of the changing around for the most part. And transplanting and new planting that I have done. Hopefully you can see all the plants that lived. Most of the ones I transplanted lived. So for right now, that's a good update. Hopefully that garden, after what I learned from last year, if I keep it fertilized good and I keep it watered well, and now that I have planted at the correct time, hopefully all this stuff is going to mature and I'll have a much better garden this year. I feel confident. So we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching Nichols Retirement Empire. Bye, y'all.